Hi, welcome to my video. This week I'm sharing a recipe for a fennel and apple salad with walnuts and honey. Fennel is really polarizing. A lot of people associate it with the flavor of licorice, but it doesn't actually taste like licorice. It has a very sweet and crisp aromatic flavor which pairs beautifully alongside a tart apple. And this salad takes practically no effort to assemble, as you will soon see. Aside from the dressing, there are only 3 core ingredients in this salad. There are the walnuts, which can be either whole or chopped, an apple, preferably a tart apple like a Granny Smith or a Macintosh, and then there's the fennel itself. Now, this is not the most physically attractive fennel out there, but it's the one that I had. We're going to be reserving some of the fennel fronds, that's the fuzzy thing on top, but we're really only going to be using the bulb portion, that's the bottom bulbous portion of the fennel. So you can remove the stalks and keep those for a soup, or if you're making a veggie broth, it gives a really delicious flavor, but we're really focusing on just the bulb portion. So the first thing I need to do is remove the stalks and reserve those for a different use, and then remove the very bottom of the fennel, that part right there. And then once you've done that, you need to cut your fennel in half from top to bottom. The axis doesn't matter so much, but cut it from top to bottom, not laterally. And then I forgot to reserve my fennel fronds. So there I am, just putting aside some of the fronds for later. And then what I'm doing next is just removing the really hard core of the fennel. I'll be using a mandolin slicer a little later, and that part tends to be very resistant going through the mandolin. And then I'm going to do something very similar to my apple, so cut it in half from top to bottom and then remove the core. And that's the prep work done. It's not very much. As I mentioned, I am going to use my mandolin slicer. I suppose you could do this by hand if you didn't have one. I think a serrated knife would probably be your best bet, or a really sharp chef's knife. I'm going to use the mandolin because it does make your food more charming and delicious, as the box suggests. And I don't know the thickness of this shaving attachment. I know that some mandolins are adjustable, mine isn't, so whatever thickness that is, which I think might be like 1/4 centimeter perhaps. The first time I ever tried this, I thought that it might be too thin, but it wasn't, and I'll show you a little later on exactly how thin these slices are. But if you had an adjustable mandolin and you preferred thicker slices, then you should by all means adjust them according to your preference. Part of the reason why I think thinner slices work well for fennel is because there's less effort involved in eating it when the slices are thinner. Fennel is quite crunchy, so if you have really thick slices, it might actually just be more work when it comes to chewing. And as I've been shaving away, I've also been emptying the slices into a large bowl where I'm going to mix everything together. And from this shot right here, you can get an idea of just how thin my slices are. I really think that this thinness worked very well. Sometimes when you shave something through a mandolin, it gets stuck, so I did have to separate some of my apple slices and then give everything a good toss to make sure that it was well incorporated. As for the fennel fronds, I like to chop them up really finely. Not only do they look gorgeous in the salad, but they also impart a lot of flavor. And again, that's a flavor similar to anise or absinthe, which I know people associate with licorice, but it's nothing like licorice. The dressing is really simple. It's a little olive oil. I used extra virgin olive oil, some apple cider vinegar, a little salt and pepper to taste, and a little bit of honey to just kind of tie everything together. This is a sweet salad, which is a little different, I admit. If you're vegan and you don't consume honey, then by all means use some agave or maple syrup. I think maple syrup would be a better pairing. And add in the walnuts. You can crumble some, you can leave some whole, and then give everything a really good mix. Make sure that all those flavors have come together beautifully. The apple cider vinegar is just going to cut through some of that sweetness, but as I said, this is essentially a sweet salad. Not overly sweet, it just happens to be a little sweet. I really associate fennel with fall flavors, so I think this would make a great addition to an autumn dinner or an American Thanksgiving menu, perhaps, because we already celebrated Thanksgiving up here. Anyway, thank you for spending time with me and for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel for new videos every Monday and Thursday. And I will see you next week with another recipe. Oh, actually, next week we're traveling, so I don't know. The schedule will be the same, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to post. Anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.